Democrats on Capitol Hill are putting the dagger into Donald Trump as his term collapses. Donald Trump's approval lower than Richard Nixon at the time that Nixon resigned. Trump's approval in the latest AP NORC poll, 33%. Trump's approval on the economy, 30%. And I think soon we'll see both of those numbers dip into the 20s.
So MeidasTouch just caught some explosive revelations about Trump's FBI director nominee and the complete collapse of congressional oversight. We're talking historically low approval ratings, corruption allegations, and Democrats finally fighting back with real tactics. This breakdown shows why Trump's second term is already imploding.
Oh, wow.
Totally unconstitutional.
Listen, Democrats have attempted and asked Republicans for 10 years to ban partisan gerrymandering. And for 10 years, Republicans have said no. Republicans have fought for partisan gerrymanders across the United States of America, and these are the rules that they have set.
This is exactly the tactic Democrats should have been using for decades. Republicans gerrymandered Texas so aggressively they eliminated multiple Democratic seats, then did the same in North Carolina. Now that Democrats are playing by the same rules in Virginia, suddenly Republicans cry foul. Pure hypocrisy.
And so if the Republican Party wanted to start this, they did this in North Carolina. They drew out 3 Democratic members of Congress in North Carolina. They drew out in Texas. They redid Texas. What they're just mad at is that they have been accustomed to a Democratic Party that rolls over, doesn't fight, and takes everything sitting down.
She's absolutely right about those specific examples. In North Carolina alone, Republicans redrew maps to eliminate 3 Democratic congressmen after 2020. Texas was even worse. They packed urban Democratic voters into fewer districts while creating safe Republican seats in suburbs. Classic gerrymandering playbook.
And what they're mad at right now is that we are here in a new day. And we have been asking the Democratic Party to stand up and fight, and now they did, and now the Republican Party doesn't like the fact that they are fighting against someone who actually will stand up for the American people. So if Republicans decide that they would like to revisit a ban on partisan gerrymandering, I welcome them.
This represents a fundamental shift in Democratic strategy. For years, the progressive wing demanded party leadership stop playing defense while Republicans broke every norm. AOC embodies this new fighting spirit, using Republican tactics against them while exposing their hypocrisy with surgical precision.
So sorry for his heartbreak at this present moment, and I look forward to adding 10 new Democratic colleagues in November.
That sarcastic delivery, while making a serious political prediction, is vintage AOC effectiveness. She's not just mocking Republican complaints. She's confidently forecasting Democratic gains based on Virginia's redistricting success. It's political theater with substantive strategy behind it.
We're getting screwed. People are getting screwed. These insurance companies. In fact, the Department of Justice has a criminal case open on United Healthcare for stealing money from Medicare.
That Department of Justice criminal case is massive news that got buried. United Healthcare has been under federal investigation for Medicare fraud, stealing taxpayer money while denying patient claims. This is the healthcare corruption that thrives under Trump's deregulation agenda.
Obviously it is. If the reports are true, of course, if the reports are completely fictionalized, as he says, then it's not a national security concern. But I would hope all Americans could agree that if it's right, that it's a national security emergency to have the FBI director dependent on alcohol and passing out drunk.
Raskin's framing here is brilliant political messaging. He's not making accusations. He's raising legitimate national security concerns about fitness for office. With Iran tensions escalating, having an allegedly intoxicated FBI director creates genuine security risks that even Republicans should acknowledge.
I mean, I'm afraid that our Republican colleagues have totally lost the thread here. There's no political program to help the American people. There's nothing about getting prices down, making housing more affordable, making healthcare more affordable, making groceries more affordable. They're just serving the richest people in the country and then investing in ICE and their immigration crackdown.
He's nailing the core Republican problem. They campaign on economic populism, but govern for billionaire donors. While families struggle with housing and healthcare costs, Trump's agenda focuses on tax cuts for the wealthy and expensive deportation operations. The priorities speak volumes.
And yet he's also been included in the team of people trying to negotiate with Iran. When his business partners in Saudi Arabia and in Qatar clearly have vested interest in particular kinds of outcomes.
This conflict of interest is staggering. Kushner's investment firm took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, Iran's regional enemies, then sits in on Iran policy meetings. It's unprecedented corruption that makes every negotiation suspect. Whose interest is he really serving?
So when Jared Kushner goes over there with the American team, is he representing his own business interests 100%? Or is he representing the U.S. government's interests 100%? Or is it 50-50? He's got one foot in his business interests and one foot with the government interests. Nobody has defined it. And we've never seen anything like this in American history before.
That's the fundamental question destroying American credibility. Foreign leaders know Kushner has massive financial incentives from Saudi and Qatari sources. Every Iran policy decision becomes suspect. Is this what's best for America? Or what's best for Kushner's bottom line?
Well, you know, cowards never show up when they're asked, so I would expect nothing less from little Stephen Miller.
Garcia's calling out their cowardice perfectly. Miller and Homan are demanding billions for deportation infrastructure, but refuse congressional oversight. They want taxpayer money without accountability. Classic authoritarian behavior that Republicans used to oppose.
They need to show up and they need to defend their requests, because this is the American people's dollars. These are taxpayer dollars. And if you are asking for that amount of money, you should be able to show up here and defend your request and show your receipts.
Exactly right about fiscal responsibility hypocrisy. Republicans spent decades demanding government accountability and detailed budget justifications. Now their own officials won't even show up to defend massive spending requests. Where's that fiscal conservative outrage now?
This is about having an FBI director that is competent and qualified and able to do his job. I don't know about you, but I think that the director of the FBI should not be inebriated, should be able to make decisions and have the ability to have sound judgment before him. Now, you know, I'm not with him. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but the allegations are incredibly disturbing.
The timing makes this even more serious. With active military operations against Iran, having an FBI director with alleged drinking problems creates genuine national security vulnerabilities. Intelligence coordination requires clear judgment, something Republicans used to understand.
They just have no respect for Congress. They don't care about Congress. They think that we're a joke, and honestly, we are a joke. Speaker Mike Johnson completely gave the powers of this institution to the president. So why would they feel like they need to come here? And this is what happens when you have a lapdog as Speaker of the House.
Johnson's weakness has been catastrophic for congressional authority. He's essentially abdicated the legislative branch's oversight role, turning Congress into a rubber stamp. Republicans traded constitutional separation of powers for partisan loyalty. Exactly what founders feared.
What I make of that is the fact that they all treat us with contempt. And when they treat us with contempt, the people they're really treating with contempt is the American people. They don't think they owe us any answers. They don't think they have to have any accountability. We saw this in the classified briefing on the Iran war. We see it every single day here. And Americans, I want you to understand, when we get angry in Congress, when they treat us with contempt, it's because we are your representatives. And if they won't answer our questions, they're not answering your questions.
This connects to the broader authoritarian playbook. Undermine democratic institutions by making them appear powerless. When Congress can't get basic answers from the executive branch, it signals to voters that representative government doesn't work. That's intentional.
First, anything as it relates to ICE or DHS, there's an enormous amount of corruption. I mean, you look at it, for example, Lewandowski and Secretary Noem, that still has to be investigated. There appears to be pay to play. We've heard that across DHS. And so as it relates to any sort of contracting that happens at DHS, all of that's got to be investigated.
The Lewandowski-Noem corruption allegations involve billion-dollar DHS contracts going to Trump cronies. These aren't small-scale ethical lapses. This is systematic looting of taxpayer funds while building deportation infrastructure. Follow the money on every contract.
First of all, ICE as it exists today cannot continue. I mean, they are terrorizing communities. The detention centers are inhumane. Obviously, congressional visits in many cases are being blocked. And then there's the pure corruption that's happening in these contracts. I mean, these detention centers are being built that are going back to support big donors of Donald Trump and Republicans. So
Garcia's laying out the complete picture. ICE has become a corrupt patronage system serving Trump donors rather than public safety. Detention centers are built by political allies, congressional oversight is blocked, and conditions remain inhumane. It's institutionalized corruption.